Hello, financial algebra students. I want to go through the simple and compound interest test for you. Before I get started, though, I want you to have the two formulas that you're going to be using if you don't have them in front of you. And I want you to write these down so that it's a little bit easier to figure out as you go through this, okay? So the compound interest is this formula right here I have highlighted, where A equals the final amount. That's what we're going to be solving for. P is the initial principal balance. And then you have the, plus 1. The R is the interest rate as a decimal. And then we have the number of times the interest is applied per time period. And then you have that N, the number of times applied times the time period that's elapsed. So, the time could be 1 year, it could be 2 years, 3 years, whatever. So this is the formula. This is where you're going to be plugging in. You're just going to plug in those numbers and then work this out. I'll try to help you translate, where I see the problem a lot is the interest rate. Students changing percentages to decimals only. Okay, the simple interest one is just I equals PRT, and this is my writing, sorry it's not as neat, but I is going to be the interest when we're figuring out what the interest is. And sometimes they want to find the total, so we have to go back and add the principal and the total, the interest, when they want to find the total amount, sometimes you have to go back and add the interest to the principal. But just finding the interest, you find your principal amount, the rate, it's multiplied by the rate, multiplied by the time. And rate, once again, is as a decimal. So let's get in and I'll tell you which one you're going to be using. For number 1, Riley invested $1,000 in savings bonds. If the bonds earn 6.75% interest compounded semi-annually, how much total will Riley earn in 15 years? So you are going to use the compound interest. So the CI, compound interest one, that's this one right here. Okay, and you could pause this as we go. Remember to change this to 0.0675. Okay, and plug those numbers in, and you should be getting one of these. Number 2, Kennedy won $3,000 from a radio contest. If she puts this money in a bank account that earns 2.9% interest compounded quarterly, how much total will she earn in 10 years? Once again, you're going to use the compound interest. That's this one. Okay, and that 2.9 is going to be 0.029 as a decimal only, okay? 0.029. Compounded quarterly, quarterly is going to be 4. This one compounded semi-annually, so it's, twice a year. That might help you also. Number 3, Emilio borrows $1,200 from a bank with 8% simple interest per year. How much will he have to pay back total in 2 years? So you are going to use the simple interest, and so you have the total amount that you're going to want to find. So you're going to figure out what the interest is using this. So you're the principal, the 1,200 times the rate, 0.08 times the time, 2 years. And be careful, because that's probably going to give you one of those answers. That's just the interest. Take that interest and add it to the principal. Okay, and that will give you the amount that you should have. So the total, you're going to have to take the principal and add it to the interest for number 3. So this is the simple interest one. Number 4, Mark took a loan out for $25,690 to purchase a truck at an interest rate of 5.2% compounded monthly. How much total will he have to pay after 5 years? So you're just going to plug this into the compound interest one. Compound interest. And some information that you're going to need to have is 0.052. That's as decimal only. Notice it was compounded monthly. There are 12 months in a year. Number 5, Julie borrowed $3,500 for 3 years at 7.5% simple interest. How much interest is that? So this, you're just figuring out the interest. So you're just going to do this once. You know, you're just going to figure out the interest. You don't have to add it to the principal. So how much interest? So this number is 7.5, so 0.075. I moved it 2 places to the left. So you're just going to take this times this times this, in any order, this times this times this, and that will give you the interest. So that's simple interest. Number 6, Christine takes out a 4-year simple interest car loan for $15,000 at 3% interest rate. If she does not make any payments, how much interest will she owe at the end of 4 years? Okay, so so this is a simple interest one, so you're going to use the simple interest. And you're just going to take this 0.03 and 4 years, so you're just looking for the interest only. So you're not going to have to add it back to the principal. For number 7, okay, so you have a couple compound interests, so these are going to use the compound interest. You're going to have to do it twice. Brian is buying a car and he has 2 options. So option 1 is $14,000 at 5% interest, that's 0.05, compounded annually for 5 years. Annually just means once for 5 years. Okay? And then you're going to compare that, so you're going to use this formula. Plug all that information in, work it out. To option 2, $15,000 at 3% interest, 0.03, compounded annually, that's once every year, 6 years. Okay? So this is your rate, this is your N, your number of times interest is applied, and this is your T. You know, this is your N, this is your T, this is your R, this is your P. Okay, hopefully if you have to go back and do any problems, you know, that hopefully that helps. Then compare those two, and then you got to see which one is better and for what reason. For number 8, Beyonce went to the mall and saw a massage chair that she would have to take a loan out for $6,500 to purchase. The bank said that she could get a simple interest rate of 8% for 5 years. What is the total amount that Beyonce will pay for the chair? So you got to do this one, I equals PRT. This is your P, this is your principal. Your rate is 0.08. And your T, your time is 5. So just take P times R times T. Then add that's going to give you your interest. So interest plus the principal again. So add it back to the principal to find the total. Number 9. So that's simple interest. Number 9. Ann deposited $500 in an account that earns 6% simple annual interest. Shelley deposited $500 in an account that earns 6% annual interest compounded annually. They leave the money in the account for 4 years. Which statement is true about the 2 investments after 4 years? So the first one, Ann, you're going to have to use this simple interest. Okay? And hers is 0.06. And then you're going to have to add that back to the principal. So make sure once you figure out 500 times 0.06 times 4, add that back to the 500. You'll get the total amount then. For Shelley's, you don't have to do that. You just have to take this information, the 500 and times the 0.06, compounded annually, that's once. For 4 years, that's your T, 4 years. You're just going to plug that into the compound interest one. Compare the 2 answers. and then select which one it best describes. And then last but not least, number 10, Travis invests $25,000 in a savings account that pays 2.75 simple interest. How much interest does he earn each year? So this is going to be 0.0275. So 25,000, that much. How much does he earn each year? So that's just going to be in 1 year. So you're going to have like 1 year. So you're going to use the simple interest. Your P is the 25,000. Your R is this 0.0275. The time is just 1. Okay? Hopefully this helps, and good luck on this test.